If you have said to yourself, I should write that, or if someone has said to you, you should write that, then I'm talking to you because you need to write. And that's why you're tuned in to yWrite. Hi, welcome to yWrite. I'm your host, Angela Grout. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode to find out why writers write and why you should be writing too. There's all sorts of things to write about, and whether you're writing a book or just keeping a journal or a daily log, that's part of writing. And today I have a guest on that's going to talk to us not only about all three of those things, because keeping a daily log of what you do during the day can help you to find out where you're headed. And this author that I have coming on today is a brand new author. She has released her first book, and we're going to talk to her today about nutrition. I have Rosemary Santaniello in the studio, and let me tell you a little bit about Rosemary. Rosemary has been working in the business community for 30 years. And in the Boston area, she is now retired, and she is a fitness guru and a fitness advocate. But she is an Oxford University certified diet and nutrition coach. She has written a book called Spark Nutrition, and she is here today to tell us not only the why behind her book, but the why you should be reading it and why nutrition is important. So welcome to the studio, Rosemary Santaniello.
Thank you, Angela. It's a privilege to be here with you today.
I'm so excited that you're in studio, that we can talk about this, because when the audience when you find out why, a little bit more about this book in a few minutes, you're going to say, oh, now I understand the relationship with Rosemary and Angela. Rosemary is a local resident here in Agawam, Massachusetts, and we have known each other for many, many, many years. Your parents were clients of mine at the flower shop. You were a client of mine at the flower shop. And we've kind of sparked a relationship, and no pun intended, as I will hold up her book right now. It's called Spark Nutrition. And Rosemary is very into fitness and nutrition. As you can tell, she's in really good shape, and she takes very good care of herself. Can you tell me why you decided you wanted to write a book about nutrition?
Well, Angela, there's a couple of reasons. One, I had a very serious illness, chronic pancreatitis, which is actually an incurable disease, but due to my diet and my way of life, I have basically cured it. And what happened was I have a specialist at Brigham Hospital, and she was always calling me about my diet and sending me all these clients, and I was like doing her job for her, which I didn't mind because these guys saved my life.
Yeah.
So, I kind of got the idea that, God, I should do something in nutrition and help other people, not only with that disease, but in general.
Yeah.
With other diseases, with weight management. And then so I decided to do the online course at Oxford. I got my certificate and diploma, and then I got some clients. And after a while, a couple of my clients were saying, Rosemary, you have such a wealth of knowledge that you should write a book. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that one.
You do have a wealth of knowledge. I mean, you have your master's degree in business administration. You have taught at the college level. I mean, you really are an educated woman. So to also have the education in taking care of yourself, like taking your health into your own control. And, a lot of people, like you said, you had the chronic pancreatitis. People with, I know women and men with cancer who have changed their diet and they were able to see improvements. And a lot of it is about what we eat. And the fact that you put together a book to share that information is really amazing. So you have a new book, your first book, called Spark Nutrition. You own a company, you own a coaching service that's Spark Nutrition.
Correct.
And, what created you to spark the idea to write a book, and how did you do it?
Well, I was very, very fortunate, and probably more fortunate than most people writing a book. I happen to have this lady here as my friend, and I asked her, I said, Angela, I don't know the first thing about writing a book. Will you help me? And she was like, sure, because Angela is ready to help anyone. That's the kind of person she is. So I asked her, and we just started from there. We just threw out some ideas, and what did she think people would like on my first book? And, we wanted to keep it simple and clear so it wouldn't be overwhelming to people. And that's the way I practice my coaching. I don't overwhelm people. I try to fit my diet into their daily routine. And try to incorporate some of the foods they love. I mean, I hear a lot of nutritionists, they have people weighing this and doing that, and then after a week or two, they quit. I want it to be real so that it's, based on whole foods, but it's also real to your lifestyle.
Yeah. I was very excited and interested to help you write this book because the passion behind what you do, just glows, and you're always so full of information about how to eat healthy, how to lose weight, gain weight, whatever, wherever someone is. And when you said, "Oh, I want to write this book," we started talking, and I remember saying to you, "Well, what do you want it to be about?" And you're like, "I just want to give people some basic information." Obviously, if people want detail, specific details for them, they need to contact a coach like you or whoever their coach is in their local area. But sitting down with you and just getting out of your head what you wanted in the book was fun for me. And you were a really great client to work with because you followed the lesson plan, followed the outline and the guide that, I said, let's try it this way. And as we both know, it came out even, it unfolds the way it's supposed to unfold, Yeah.
Well, Angela, what you said about, eating, properly, I firmly believe that when you eat right, you are what you eat. You are what you put in your mouth. And people don't get it.
Yeah.
They'd rather take a pill. They'd rather take a vitamin.
Yeah.
Well, vitamins are not the answer. I mean, you have to kind of clean up your diet. And like I said, I try to make it so that, it's not overwhelming. You're not weighing. You're not going crazy. But, there is some time involved, as you know, and you have to do the shopping, you have to look at the ingredients, and you have to prepare your meal. So it's not grabbing, a McDonald's or Chick-fil-A.
Right, you got to think ahead of time. It's consciously
planning.
eating and consciously planning.
Exactly, it's planning.
Talking to you before, we were, in the middle of writing the book, talking about how you work with specific clients, and, she really is amazing. Her clients are texting her from the supermarket, "Can I eat this?" And she's right there to answer, yes, no, and it's just really great that they have accessibility to you like that, because it's important that not only do you sit with them and kind of give them the guidelines of what they follow, but you write along with them on their journey, and you want to see everybody succeed.
That's correct, Angel. I actually will go shopping with the person, which is really fun to go, I have to read this label, I have to do this, I have to do that, And, like anything else, you have to put the time in it. The amount of effort you put into this will be rewarding, and you'll reach your goals. I mean, I try to be very thorough, but I try not to be too restricted for these people. But it is fun, Angela.
So what was the hardest part about writing this?
Again, I really didn't feel there were hard parts. You made it so easy for me. You gave me an outline. But I guess one thing I would say was a little hard for me, because I tend to talk a lot, and I like to share knowledge, to kind of maybe keep it short.
Yeah, keep it simple.
Keep it simple. So without getting into the technique.
And there's one I wish one thing I'll share with the audience is it's really neat that, the book is Spark Nutrition, but it's Rosemary Says, and a lot of the pages here literally will have a question and it will tell you what Rosemary says. And, I like it that we could just open to any page and you get, the advice or, the wisdom or something, there's something there. There's nuggets on every page. But I don't want to say that one of the harder things about working with you was, it's number one, you hand wrote everything.
Yeah, that's true.
So she would turn in her handwritten pages to me, and then I'd have to type them up, which of course I had to decipher some of the words. And then, when you went back to review and edit it, you were like, "Well, what is this word you typed, Angela?" I'm like, "I don't even know what you wrote. I'm writing supercalifragilisticexpialidocious because I don't know. I couldn't read the handwriting." But the difficult part was you did start to get a little bit wordy on what are foods you should avoid. Yeah. And, I had to go back and remind you, like you said, you wanted to keep it simple. And if we put all these big, long, technical, words that I can't pronounce, never mind spell. And, here I'm trying to read your handwriting and I'm trying to put, I don't know, dextroxylene monofosa or something. I'm like, well, what are these things I'm putting in? I'm asking you. And you were like, they're just other names for sugars.
Right.
And I was like, well, why don't we simple it and say that? And you came up with something great where you said, if you're reading the labels and you can't pronounce
the name,
the ingredient, you shouldn't be putting it in your body. And when she said that to me, I go, that's the kind of thing that is understandable to the average person. Like, sure, put that in there. And, your kind of your chapter, your, subject on eating whole foods, we had a fun time with that because you were naming the different kinds of whole foods. And I said to you, well, tell me some other whole foods. And you're like, well, what's in an apple? And I go, apple. What's in peanut butter? I'm like, peanut butter. What's in a plum? A plum. And you're like, that's the whole food. And, that's when you went into my pantry and you're like, look at this. This is not good. This is not whole foods. And I pulled out a bag of almonds and I said, look, these are just almonds. So it was very fun to do that. But it was, a little challenging to, make sure we stayed on topic of keeping it simple and not listing all these no-nos.
And that's where I appreciate Angela, because she kept me in line, and it's hard to keep me in line. But I just love what I'm doing so much, and I didn't realize it would be so rewarding and so beneficial. And it's not easy. I'm not going to sit here, and I have clients that have digestive issues. I have clients that have weight management, whether it's weight gain or weight loss. I have high blood pressure. People that have problems with cholesterol. So it's a gamut. And I really like to focus on the, I don't want to say elderly, but the more mature audience, because they're the ones that need the help the most. And believe me, I had the best of doctors at Brigham and Mass General. Let me tell you, they know zero about nutrition. And I love these doctors, and I will recommend them, to the highest. But you really need to work with someone that knows what they're talking about. And yes, I have clients that text me, and I'm going out to dinner. Should I have a drink or dessert? And I go, neither. And, that's what I'm for. I do a one-on-one. I spend a lot of time with my clients. And I want them to be whole like I am.
Well, and your clients must love having this, like, kind of little mini Bible by their side, just for that inspiration and for, when you're just having that moment of, I need something to keep me on track. Diet is so important. It really is. And, we've kind of, in our society, got into this routine of doing everything quickly, whether we're eating or, dashing around. And, we want to take care of ourselves, but we sometimes forget that what we put in our body is how we take care of ourselves.
Well, and I know people are business, and now you have two-income families, and, the mother's off, the father's off, and it's not like when I grew up. My mother was home. Yeah. She cooked all the meals. We had snacks. But in order to be fit and to eat well and to help whatever your medical issue is, you really do have to put the time in. That's the thing I emphasize. But Angela touched base with about, keeping it simple. There's a lot of processed foods out there. I mean, you read these, they have paragraphs like this. I mean, come on. If you want something that's processed, I don't buy everything fresh because, you need beans, legumes. I try to get a carton, but there's only one, product in it. Red lentil beans, green lentil beans. My pasta's the same way. I try to eat organic, but I get it. It's expensive. I just have to take care of me. Mm-hmm. But I really do walk the walk and talk the talk. Mm-hmm. And I try to be a really role model and an example for my clients.
Well, and you definitely are an example because, like I said earlier, I've known you for a very long time. And I do remember the years where you were very sick. You were very sick. And, the fact that you're so healthy now, it really is a testament to, your belief and your passion to take care of yourself, and now to share it with others is huge. So I want to get a little bit back to writing the actual book. So let's talk to them. This book is, it's pretty much under 50 pages. It's not, a huge it's not a novel. It's easy to read. And a lot of people who want to write books think, oh, how am I going to have the time to do that? And it sounds like such a huge undertaking, but the way that you were able to do this in, a small book is very helpful. And there's people out there who have wisdom on a lot of things and experience, whether it's, how to use Facebook, or how to boil water. Like, you can write a book about these things. Yeah, exactly. And, the process of, doing the outline of what you wanted to have included and sharing your story was really important to put in there. But how did you feel about writing all that? And even like when I would make requests to you of, tell me more about this.
I felt really good. I tried to hit on the key, areas that people would probably have questions for me as a nutritional coach. And again, as Angela pointed out, it was hard to really keep it simple and condense it because I have so much knowledge on one subject. But I tried to hit on the subjects: weight loss, medical issues, shopping for food, preparing food. So that's how I kind of went about it, and you kind of guided me. I mean, a lot in that area. So that was my premise. I found it easy. It came very normal for me. It came
once you started with the pen, isn't it?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Once that pen starts flowing, it really does flow.
She's so right. If it's something you're compassionate about and you have the knowledge, you just don't know how to put it on paper. She's a great help for that, and it just flowed for me. And I kept getting, let's do more, let's do more, let's do more. She's
like, what do you want next? What do you want next? And I would, and as I got what you were typing or what you wrote, I would type it up and kind of keep it in a different order, and then we worked on formatting it of how, what's going to come first in the book, what do you want second, how do you want the the pages to look. And that was something that I think was fun to do because even you saying like, oh, should it say Rosemary Says, is it in quotes, because we wanted it to be that helpful guideline.
I really felt the whole process was fun. It was easy for me, and I just enjoyed it, and I can't thank Angela enough for her help.
I appreciate the trust you gave me with it too, because I know it's hard to write your story and share it with someone too, and it's hard to you don't want people to judge what you're writing. And for me, I mean, of course I know some things about nutrition. I mean, I know I need food every day. That's about as far as it goes. I know I like chocolate. I know I have to eat healthier. But, it's like knowing that, you were able to transform, put your wisdom onto a piece of paper that I could then look at and then find, like, naturally for me, it even unfolded of how the format should go. And then when I presented it to you, you loved it, which was really nice. Because I was like, if you don't like it, it's your book. We can, move it around however you want.
Exactly. I tried to come from a place like, what would I want to know? Yep. And if I were working with a nutritional coach, one thing I have to say, and I'm not putting a plug in for Oxford University, they don't need one, but their course was, I looked at a lot of courses, and their course was great because they covered, pregnancy, lactation, weight, different medical issues. So I really got a vast knowledge of different areas. So when we talked about writing a book and doing these questions, I just said, okay, let me come from the client's perspective and say, what would I want to know? What do I need to do beforehand? And another thing that's in the book, if you don't mind.
No, go right ahead.
There's pages that are journals, and that was Angela's idea, where you put, you give me a sample of like 5 to 7 days of what you're eating. Yeah. And, there's, I have to know a little bit about your medical background and whatever vitamins and supplements and medicine. And I can't tell you, this was a joy for me to write. I can't wait to do the next one.
I know. She's already like, let's do another one. I'm like, okay, what do you want it to be on? And, having a little series of books like this could be, a very, very good thing for so many people because you can get a little bit more in depth with things. When I was helping you with that, I was trying to, keep my like editor mind and my professional writer, hat on to really guide you. But I did become like that client because I was like, I want to know more. And then I'm thinking, I remember saying to you, like, if I want to know this, someone else wants to know this. So we should include this in the book. And of course, you and I got a little more personal where it came to like what my needs are, because like you said, everyone is unique. So it's not like you can put in here, oh, this is the Bible, everybody has to do this. I mean, you can't do that because everyone is different. And, you know, I had some upcoming surgeries, and, you know, you were able to guide me to say, you know, you got to increase your protein. You got to, you know, get your nutrition. I mean, get your vitamins through your food. You know, your calcium through your food. You know, women take calcium pills all the time because we don't want to get osteoporosis. But having a yogurt a day can be, you know, more fun to eat than swallowing the pill. And you get your calcium. So having that conversation with you, you know, turned me into a client too. You know that.
Yes, of course.
You know, as she cleaned out my pantry and brought me over food and said, here, eat this.
People don't realize that the ingredients in food, I mean, the fillers they use, the emulsifiers, the starches, it's just incredible. You know, I had a client that had digestive issues and her stomach started acting up, and she was eating, and I won't mention the name, but a certain protein bar, and it was loaded with sugar. And you don't understand what it does to your digestive, you know. I tried to keep it simple. I tried to keep it from a standpoint, you know, as Angela's pointed out, what would she want to know? What would I want to know? I didn't want to overwhelm people. I will eventually write a large nutritional book and give a lot of information.
And Oxford University will probably be using it to teach their students.
Well, they've already asked me to do a video on success. So. So that's, I feel
and you
very
do presentations. I mean, you've given presentations on nutrition and on other things also, but, you know, being able to educate people, not just one-on-one, but in like a group setting.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to talk to the local libraries, the local senior centers, and, you know, give a lecture, you know, and, you know, even if I don't get clients or I don't sell the book, maybe I'll reach somebody and they'll say, wow, I need to look at my diet and you know. And,
you know, having that book is a really, really good way to open a door, you know, because it's like now not only are you, you know, this certified diet nutrition coach, but you're showing that you've actually, you're willing to share your wisdom, you know, and share things, but it kind of, you know, it's kind of nice to know like there's an author coming to talk about, you know, diet and nutrition because, you know, obviously if you've taken the time to write a book, you must really care.
Correct. I didn't think writing a book would be such, you know, like a big to-do or whatever, but people go, oh, you're an author now. You're a celebrity. You're published. I said, hardly.
Rosemary Santaniello, local celebrity for sure.
But it does give you additional credibility, and I think people, once they know you've written a book, they're more apt to sign up with you. But that's my goal, to help people to lead a better and healthier life.
So let's talk a little bit about the publishing part of it because, you know, I'm not a publisher, so you weren't coming to me saying I want to publish a book, but I did recommend a few publishers for you to go with, and I know you did pick Silver Street Media here in Agawam, local, which I've just finished working with to get my children's book because in the fall my children's book will be out. But, you know, working with them, you know, I know you were like, oh, come with me to the meeting and, you know, tell me how it should be laid out. And I felt bad saying I have to let you go on this because I didn't want to make the decisions for you. You know, I was like, they're going to guide you. The publisher will show you, do you want this kind of paper? Do you want white paper? Do you want ivory paper? You know, what size book do you want? All of that. And, you know, how did you feel with working with a publisher?
Oh, they were great, and Angela's right. I mean, I you know, I just said, well, you know, this is my first time around. My editor couldn't make it. You know, I'm in panic mode, but it turned out great. They were so easy and welcoming and knowledgeable that I basically, you know, said, you know, this is what I think, and they agreed or not agreed, and we made changes. And they're a great local company. I highly recommend them.
Well, it's nice when you can walk in and
and
talk to them. And, you know, you and I went through, you know, like my library and was able to pick out certain books to say, you know, like we don't want it this size. We like it this size, or we won't like this font. You know, because font was very important for you because you wanted to make sure people can read it. So, you know, I liked listening to your process, working with them because I knew I could guide you through it, but I'm saying to myself, I'm not the publisher. Like, you need to talk with them. And I mean, I know we're not going to talk price, but it was affordable to work with.
Yes. And it was a great experience. And Angela was probably right to let me do it alone because it was a learning process for me. So next time around, I'll be a pro.
You will be a pro. And so they're putting on Amazon for you, and I know it's through their website also. So, like, tell us a little bit more of where they can get the book. And I know you're going to tell us Amazon, and I wanted you to say that, but you share.
Okay, first of all, I'd like to support Silver Street Media, so they will be having my book. Of course, Amazon, because, everybody goes to Amazon for the convenience. And lastly, you can contact me at sparknutrition65@gmail.com, and I'm very good about responding and getting back to people in a timely fashion, and I'd be more than happy to accommodate you. And I will be having my book at local businesses. One of the places will be Next Fitness, where I go to the gym, and right now I got to line up a few others.
Yeah, no, it's great. And, contact her through email. I'll put the link down below, and, you can talk to her about, how to get a book in your hands, and how, you can, maybe get it autographed by her too. And who knows, maybe you'll be hiring her as a coach. So, Rosemary, thank you for coming in.
Angela, thank you. And I have to tell the audience, I couldn't have done this without this lady.
I really enjoyed doing this with you. I have helped a few other people with their books, and, I've always said you gotta be passionate about, what you're doing, and your passion really was a magnet for me. And it was also a subject that I'm also interested in too. I mean, obviously I'm not going to work with a client that, if I'm not really excited about this topic. I mean, if you want to write a book about computer programming, I'm probably not your girl to edit it. But, you want to write a novel or something, I can definitely, help out. But it was great. Here's her book right here. It's Rosemary Says, Spark Nutrition, and I hope you will get it on Amazon and check it out. And, I'm just gonna, she did this, so I'm gonna show you. I thought it was cool. It says edited by Angela Grout. Very cool. So again, thank you for coming in.
My pleasure.
I appreciate it, and I want to thank
you,
Studio 954, for allowing us the opportunity to put this show on, and you, the audience, for tuning in each week to find out, why you should be writing, and hopefully something that Rosemary and I talked about today will motivate you to share your story on paper so that I can help somebody. So at this point of the show, this is a time where I give my audience a prompt. So I'm going to ask you to pick up your pen. And when the show's over, set your timer, 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever you want. And I have like a little prompt today that's going to be something that's a little more personal. It's more of like a journal. And because our subject today was nutrition, and Rosemary talked about how important it is to, journalize what you write so that you can start to see the pattern of what's going into your body. Why don't you just sit down for a few minutes and make a list of what your health concerns are, what you're eating on a daily basis, what kinds of foods you love, what kind of foods you don't like, what your dietary restrictions may be, all these things that we have to take into consideration when we're trying to live and maintain a healthy lifestyle. So, today we're going to take a little personal time to just journalize about, what we're feeding our body with, not always just with food, but even what we're seeing, what we're hearing, and the fact that you watched the show today just put something good into you. So thank you so much for joining me on yWrite. I'm Angela Grout, and I will see you next time.